guys, welcome back to my channel. It always seems like it's been a while I've talked to you guys, but that's because it has been a while. It has been a while. So today, I'm gonna announce to you something very cool, and that is, first of all, I got a new GoPro camera. Here's a clip. Because today we're going to talk about one of the most revered and admired people in the course of pessimism and anti-natalism, and that's Wessel Zapffe. Particularly, we're going to talk about the essay called The Last Messiah, den Sidste Messias, which was written in 1933. And when I say this man is revered and admired, I mean it. I was reading The Conspiracy Against the Human Race by Thomas Ligotti, which I'll do a video on next, hopefully. And Zapffe keeps cropping up in that book. The book is dedicated to him. Ligotti keeps, throwing out his name everywhere in the book. So I thought, fuck it, let's do a video. To me, the most interesting part of this essay is the first section. It's about a man who is, going out hunting. And instead of feeling like he should kill the tiger, he sort of feels a kinship with the animals. It's a kinship that Arthur Schopenhauer has talked about in his essays. It's a kinship of suffering, because this hunter went out to the water holes and he looked at the animals and he felt pain because they were suffering as well. So he ended up dead, probably from killing himself, and that's where we move on. Because in the second section of this essay, Zapffe talks about what happens to this man, and what happened to that man is what happens to every single person on this bloody fucking earth. Zapffe believes that human beings suffer from a heightened sense of consciousness. It's a biological experiment that the universe puts forth, and evolution has since then made us smarter or more aware of our condition, of our surroundings as well. And this is where Ligotti's infatuation with Zapffe begins, because Zapffe refers to this state as a feeling of cosmic panic. When Zapffe talks about cosmic panic, he means cosmic in the sense that H.P. Lovecraft talked about cosmicism in his literature. Well, it stems from the horror writer H.P. Lovecraft, who used cosmicism as a literary technique to set a disquieting atmosphere in his novels. He was trying to pinpoint the horrific, the dreadful, the scary, the gruesome in human existence. And this struck a chord with me, because there's something horrific to existence. There's something uncanny to its very nature. And this cosmic panic came out of evolution too. Zapffe seems to believe that we were overdeveloped or over-evolved with consciousness. So, if life is this everlasting struggle with this form of consciousness, this cosmic panic, why are we still here? Zapffe talks about four things or four concepts that we like to do in order to keep on living. One of these concepts or things that we like to do to deceive ourselves is what Zapffe calls isolation. Isolation is this general agreement to keeping quiet about the horrendous facts of life. He says it's especially manifest towards children. We are not supposed to talk about death to children. We are not supposed to talk about the nature of life to children. And similarly, it comes to the same thing as adults. We are not supposed to discuss how fucking horrendous life is to each other. Very poignantly, he talks about tact, how a person who weeps on a bench in the street is frowned upon. It's weird. We're not supposed to exude those strong emotions. Another interesting thing he talks about is anchoring. Anchoring is when we fix certain things in our lives onto life itself. Zapffe mentions family. I love my family, so I won't realize the true nature of life. So instead, I will anchor my existence to my family. I can't kill myself. I can't stop reproducing because I have my family. And people who have great anchorings in the eye of the normal human being, these people are admired because they have a certain cause, whether it's political or social, and they stick to their guns no matter what happens. The third concept is what he calls distraction, and it's pretty self-explanatory. We like to distract ourselves from existence. Distraction is, when you're watching a film, when you're watching a sports game, when you're spending time with people that you love. I mean, this is basic escapism. We don't like to think about our current situation when it comes to existence. So we work a lot, we start a family, we watch a film. All of these things are forms of escapism and thus distraction. Now, the last concept that Zapffe talks about is what he calls sublimation. And sublimation is different in its nature than all of the other things we just talked about, because sublimation does not repress existence. We don't try to repress our thoughts about existence by watching a film or isolating certain things or having anchor points that we, fix our life upon. What sublimation is transformation. We take something, the pain of life, and we transform it to something else. And this is where things get very meta, because Zapffe acknowledges that him writing this essay, The Last Messiah, is actually him sublimating existence. And another interesting point that Zapffe makes in this regard is that sublimation is the rarest of the overall distraction of life. And finally, what is the solution to Zapffe's cosmic panic? Well, he talks about it in the last section of the essay. He talks about The Last Messiah. The Last Messiah, of course, is a play on Friedrich Nietzsche's Übermensch, a man who is able to transcend human existence and human consciousness in order to see what is really the truth. And the truth, according to Zapffe, is anti-natalism. The fact that we should stop reproducing. And what's curious is that he's not arguing for a big, radical, swift gesture. He's talking about a slow phase out of human life. So that's the man in the first section of this essay. He was the last Messiah. He embodied the concept of the last Messiah because he realized the sufferings of himself, the sufferings of his wife, the sufferings of all the animals in the world as well. Now, at the end of his essay, Zapffe has these 3 lines that the last Messiah would say, and they are very biblical in their formulations, in their articulations, and I just wanted to read them to you very quickly. The life of the worlds is a roaring river, but Earth's is a pond and a backwater. The sign of doom is written on your brows. How long will ye kick against the pinpricks? But there's one conquest and one crown, one redemption and one solution. Know yourselves, be infertile, and let the earth be silent after ye.